Hello, everyone. Looks like everyone is coming in from the wait room. Thank you guys so much for waiting. I'm going to give everyone maybe another minute or two to hop on. We have a full house today, so I'm excited to see everyone come on in and join us. The numbers are still climbing, so I'll give them just another minute. And while we're doing that, I will go ahead and share my screen. Looks like numbers have steadied off and we're about 3 minutes after. So I want to go ahead and get started so we can have enough time at the end for our questions. Just so that you guys know, a little housekeeping before we roll on into our presentation. First off, thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to be able to share this with you. The S2S Global story is in evolution, as you can see on screen, and it's one that we are just really excited about what's on the horizon. So we are thankful for your time today to be able to dive into what we have to share. Really quick, just so that you guys know, the chat function is available, but we do want to open this up for question and answers at the end. So if you do have any questions that you would like us to review and answer, please add that to the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And that is where we will dive into after our slides conclude. Also, this presentation is recorded, so we will be able to share this after the presentation is over today, and it will be housed on our website. So if you do have to leave early for any reason, or for others who aren't able to attend, this will be accessible after we conclude. And with that being said, I will go ahead and hand it on over to James to get us started today.
Hey, thanks, Mexanne. Really appreciate it. And just a big shout out to everyone who's dedicated their time to attend the webinar with us today. We are really excited to be successfully through our strategic alternatives process. So, I think most of you know that Premier announced back in February that they would seek a partner to help unlock the potential of S2S Global and help S2S Global grow as an organization outside of Premier. And we are happy to have successfully concluded that process recently. And I think many of you have seen the press releases that have come out. We as a team, as an S2S Global organization, can't be more excited about the partnership with Prestige Ameritech, or about Prestige Ameritech acquiring S2S. We are really happy to be positioned with an organization that believes in supply chain resiliency, an organization that believes in disrupting unhealthy supply markets, and an organization that is diverse and who we believe can grow the S2S book of business. We've got a nice sort of presentation here for you all today. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our S2S Global employees for bearing with us through the entire strategic alternatives process, and our customers who, I know heard a lot of rumors out there about who might acquire S2S, about the choices they may have to make if some of those rumors came true. And I think we're most excited that the acquisition by Prestige Ameritech puts us in a position to serve all customers, whether they are aligned to one GPO or aligned to one distributor. We are happy to be able to serve all customers. So with that said, I'm gonna pass it over or back to Maxanne, who's our MC for the day. So I think Dan is having some issues, some challenges. Maxanne, did he join us?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Looking
So
here.
Dan was having some challenges joining the webinar. So I'll just sort of run through this for us, and hopefully Dan can join in and participate in some of the question and answer. I think the big takeaway for Prestige Ameritech is that they are a US-based manufacturer who has been at the forefront of domestic manufacturing and supply chain resiliency in the US for a long time. They make very high quality products in the personal protective space, particularly masks. And those masks and products often exceed the regulatory standards of the governing bodies that certify those. Dan has always been an innovator. In the last couple of years, he has acquired a sterile water company called Anexa. And more recently, in addition to S2S Global, he's acquired a safety company that focuses on PAPRs. So I think Dan is still trying to get in here. As soon as he does, we'll hear from him. But I think we also have a little video to share just about some of the S2S story as we move forward.
Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to this webinar and thank you for taking time to come hear about the S2S story and where we're going next. I'm Michelle Schwabel, I'm the Senior Director over Product Development and Sourcing, and I'm here to just briefly touch on our history. My favorite word for S2S is that we're an evolution. Starting back in 2011, we were really born out of the need of the members, were the hospital systems coming to Premier and saying that we needed to source products in a different way. And so we were built off of 4 really core pillars or tenets, and that was driven around being able to provide savings, standardize, making sure that the products we brought to the market were clinically effective, and that we could understand the challenges that it took to source a product from overseas and bring it here to America and then distribute it out to those same hospital systems. Boy, did we learn our lesson, of course, during COVID, where we had unprecedented challenges that really showed or highlighted the gaps in our supply chain, and we said we never want to have to go through that again. So as we have evolved, we have gotten better at our diversification. We have spread our wings when it comes to domestic production. And again, we're here at the next phase of our evolution that James is going to talk about here more next.
We're really excited to come out of this strategic alternatives process. It's been a long process. We are happy to be announcing that we are going to become part of the Prestige Ameritech family. Dan Reese and the Prestige Ameritech companies have been focused on supply chain resiliency for a long time, since before the pandemic. Their whole mission has been made in America. And so, we sort of see ourselves as fitting under that umbrella and giving ourselves an opportunity to be part of that supply chain resiliency story for our customers, for their customers, and for the healthcare customers at large. We're really excited about introducing S2S as a strategic partner. So, for many years of our existence, we've been known as the Premier Pro brand. As we look forward, we think about how we're going to bring our customers closer to the products that they use, Earlier this year, we held an exam glove innovation forum that was attended by over 15 health systems, had representation by over 15 health systems. And we brought together the raw materials manufacturer and the manufacturer along with these key constituents, these end users, and immerse them in a 2-day process around designing a new exam glove. We really see that as the future of where S2S can go in terms of this end user-led sourcing design process, and are looking forward to expanding that process to many categories that we think will not only strengthen the resiliency of the healthcare supply chain, but that will allow end users to get closer to the supplies that they use and really have the input on the key attributes that they find important in those supplies.
So talking through the supply chain, really some of the buzzwords that are out there are really around strategically diversifying your supply chain. But what does that really mean? We know that we're getting challenges when it comes to the news. If you've been watching the news lately, you know that tariffs are a concern. We know that we still have impending strikes that are about to happen on the East Coast. And all that to say is that the challenges when it comes to supply chain haven't gone away. The gaps are still there, and that's really what we're working with our hospital systems to understand and to be able to address in more dynamic ways by, one, making sure that we do have a global diversified base when it comes to all the products that we source. Two, that we have domestic options when it comes to raw materials and also the manufacturing process itself. And the third way that we're doing it is we're really working with end users to understand their needs so that we're building products that not only can help drive savings and create standardization, but are designed by the end user themselves, because there's also gaps to address when it comes to the clinical needs.
Great. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for checking out that video. Hopefully that was insightful just to learn a little bit more about where S2S started, what we've been working on, and what we are looking forward to in the future. With that, I do want to let everyone know that in the past, you might have seen some updates that come from S2S Global through Premier channels. Now that we are no longer under the Premier umbrella, we will be having our own outreach channels through social media, our email communications on our website and our blog, as well as webinars like you're in today. So be sure that when you do see those come through, know that that is the news channel that we are trying to get that information out to you. And of course, if you have any questions or if you want to interact with us on our social media channels, we would love to see you. And James, I'll pass this back over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Maxine. So, I think here we really wanted to share some key team members that you can reach out to if you have questions. If you are a supply partner, you can reach out to Hannah Hagedorn, who's our Director of Strategic Supplier Engagement. If you are a customer, you can funnel all of those communications through Tiffany Hughes, who's our Area Sales Director. And if you have just general questions, you see the link there or the email address there. Just for general questions. I think over the last couple of months, we've been pretty visible at events such as IDN, ABAP, other conferences. And so, chances are that you likely have my email address and or Michelle's. And if you don't, you can always find us on LinkedIn or any of the other social media platforms. But did want to make sure that you had these other key individuals who are part of our team.
Awesome. And just a reiteration as well, we do have our own Twitter, or I guess you should say X nowadays. We do have our own Twitter account and our LinkedIn page. So we really encourage you to go follow us and to just stay in the know with our updates in these direct channels. And with that, I am going to open it up to questions and comments. You should be able to now access the Q&A section in the Zoom toolbar. If you don't see the Q&A, I'm looking here. It looks like it might be hidden under the chat, but if you do want to send any questions over via chat, I should be able to get those to James and Michelle.
Yeah, and hey, Max and Michelle, while we're waiting, I probably can tee up a question that a lot of folks have, and a lot of time has been spent, a lot of your time, Michelle, has been spent on, this question. So talk to us a little bit just about, we're being acquired by Prestige Ameritech, which is a diverse organization. Talk to us a little bit about, the process of qualifying S2S spend as diversity spend.
Yes, so this has been a common question for us ever since it has been announced, of course, that we were getting acquired by Prestige. And really, when it comes to Premier, I don't know about the other GPOs yet, but we're learning there. But when it comes to the GPO with Premier, really the kind of the path is that it's around that Prestige Ameritech is a certified diverse supplier, that he is of the Cherokee Nation, so Native American. And it's really around us updating our name or our legal name. Oh, I think we finally have Dan on the call, so I'll just briefly touch on this. But any of the spend that is going to be coming through us once we complete the update in the Premier systems with all of the contracts, that we will be considered a tier 1 diversity supplier. So any of the spend flowing through S2S Global once we complete this will again qualify for that diverse spend. What's really kind of key is just making sure that we get the updates right in the system, that all the key data points are linked together so that there's no gaps or kind of hiccups when you go to activate contracts. And that's what we're actively working on with Premier right now. And so we do see a path to getting this completed at least by the end of the year. So that's something that we're working on every day now.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. Dan, looks like you have resolved your technical difficulties there.
Well, actually, I finally had to resort to my iPhone, but hey, it's my creative way of finally getting in. So
probably a better camera. You look great.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So hey, I did you probably not a whole bunch of justice by introducing you and covering your slide. But
Okay.
why don't you, I know you've met probably many of the folks that are on the call as participant, but why don't you just give us a little bit of the story in terms of, what you saw in S2S and why you thought it was a good fit under the Prestige umbrella.
Be glad to. Prestige Ameritech, I founded Prestige in 2005 specifically to make sure that the healthcare providers in the U.S. were protected in an emergency. And we were able to do that with the pandemic when that finally came. It was a time that none of us want to go back and do again. But we made sure that we took care of all of our customers, and our customers didn't run out of face mask or N95s, facial protection, any PPE. Well, the interesting thing about the S2S program is we're polar opposites, but not really. If you look at it initially, you say, wow, it's a totally different thing. Prestige Ameritech manufactures everything in the U.S. exclusively with U.S. raw materials. And our whole program is this ability to provide and to be a very secure supply chain. The S2S company brings us all of the things that we've never had as a company, and we bring to them the things that they never had as a company. So we can provide to S2S the security and the stability of a U.S. manufacturing company, and our ability to ramp up in a crisis quickly, our short supply chain, it's an incredible combination, in my opinion. what S2S can bring to Prestige is the ability to provide the super cost-effective products when those products are needed in a situation, and a comparable product line. But we have a lot of products that S2S does not have, and S2S has a lot of products that we don't have. So basically, if you're looking for a combination that really provides the end user with all of the things they need to be successful and to be protected in this business, this is what we're going to bring today. And our ability to ramp up internally is, frankly, is pretty impressive. We went from being able to manufacture 80,000 N95s in January 2020. By December, and that's about 80,000 per month. By December, we're producing over 10 million products a month because we have the ability internally to design and build our own equipment, etc. So it's an amazing combination. Okay, I could go on and on and on, but basically the combined, it's a powerhouse in the industry. So that was the main thing that I saw in S2S is collectively we solve each other's weaknesses, and we create all these synergies that are so good for our customers.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. All right, Maxine, do we any questions here?
We do. We have one question that came on in. One of them is, will there be a link or tile in Pink AI? And what will the name of this company be going forward?
Sure. So we don't really have access to Pink AI on our side. I don't think, right?
I don't believe we will have a Pink AI tile. That was reserved more for the internal Premier community and kind of those stand-ups. But as we have now gotten our own social media channels, also our website, that is something that we can absolutely look to have a little bit more robust on our own channels. But as far as Pink AI, no, I don't believe so.
Yeah. And then as far as our name goes, we are now under the Prestige umbrella. We are currently, still operating as S2S Global. There may be some changes to just some of our branding and things like that. We're just continuing to work through some of those things now that we're 15 days post divestiture. And so I think as some of those plans become solidified, you'll see additional announcements that come out over time.
I don't have any questions just yet, but if you do have a question, be sure to add that to the chat. We'll make sure we have a couple more minutes here so you guys can send those over to us.
I'll tee another one up here just for Michelle. One of the things that we got asked a lot of questions about over the last 8 or 9 months has been, what are the new products that S2S is going to bring to the market? And, I think one of the things that we tried to do over the past 8 or 9 months, since we were going through this strategic alternatives process, was we tried to solidify our current product categories and make sure that there was a seamless transition as we transitioned over to Prestige. But now that we have crossed over and we are out of this strategic alternatives review, what do you think the outlook is for new product categories? And I know I asked this because I know you've got a big trip coming up, and I know you're eager. You and team, we're bringing the largest team that we've ever brought to Medica. I know the team is really excited about getting out and and looking at a lot of new product categories.
Mhm. So yes, when it comes to new product categories, we're always still looking around. When it comes to unhealthy markets, I think that's one of the big tenets when it comes to, of course, what Prestige is, or Prestige Ameritech is all about, right? So looking at really where are there gaps in the market, and how do we address that? So just to take the example of where Prestige, where Dan, you saw a gap in the market when it came to surgical and isolation masks, and you said, hey, this is going to be an issue if there's ever a pandemic. And, lo and behold, that all came true. Unfortunately, there was a pandemic and it highlighted many of the gaps in the supply chain. And that's also been a premier narrative as well. And then just in general, a narrative is that we only have a few players in certain spaces when these are kind of critical supplies. And as we have experienced disruption over, kind of the time period, I mean, right now everybody's going through it when it comes to Baxter, right? So one critical supplier going down, and everybody is struggling to find, backup suppliers. So that's really going to kind of be our focus when we're looking at new product categories. Is again, where can we come in? Where can we address the market when it comes to those unhealthy markets? And really when it comes to quality as well. I see that here in the chat. And so, really, quality is one of the top things that we focus on throughout our process. And we understand that everything that we bring to the market has to meet the clinical quality that is demanded by every end user that has our product. So, really everything that we bring to market, again, is going to have that quality lens on it. And as we kind of merge into Prestige Ameritech, is even building out further quality systems that we have.
If I could make a comment, the one of the things you said I think is very important. The Prestige Ameritech moves into other areas as we see that are needed. For example, we now, speaking of the Baxter Group, but we now manufacture sterile water, sterile saline solution, and we're not afraid to make investments and move into other areas. We're not adverse to that at all. And in these areas, speaking of quality, it absolutely 100% has to be the best quality. And we've built our company on this tenet. I mean, this is what we do and why we do, or why we manufacture here, and why we control our suppliers in terms of their quality and output. So we're going to bring some unique things to the end users, into the customers, and the good news there is we see things, or as things are brought to S2S and said, here's an area in the marketplace that I'm not satisfied with the quality, I'm not satisfied with the service, you have pricing issues, etc. Then we're going to look at those very seriously. We do have the capability to enter other areas. We're not afraid to do that. We're not afraid to make the investment. And even in these areas that are basically specialty areas that are difficult, like sterile saline, sterile water, it's okay. So it's part of the additional power that we have with S2S now. We can provide a lot of things, and we want to. We want to be what you need out there as a customer. So yeah, quality, super important.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Michelle.
I got another question here. So this question is, as a result of the divestment, what should we expect as far as changes as S2S Global customers?
First, I think you shouldn't really expect any changes at the outset, right? We maintain a number of contract positions. If you're a premier customer, we maintain all of those contract positions. All of those positions have transferred over to our new organization, or transferred over with S2S, I should say. And so at the outset, I don't expect that you should expect to see many changes, at least not many changes that I think will affect the customer. We are looking at, a number of new categories, product categories to enter into, and we are going to look to be aggressive as we bid on new categories, and as we bid on existing categories. So that's some of the things that I think you should continue to look for from us. And then we are going to be aggressive about those, in those unhealthy supply markets that are dominated by the big conglomerates today. We are going to look to take market share from those organizations, and do right by our customers. So, that's something that you should be looking for in the future. I think another thing is, we certainly look at distribution as an opportunity. And we look at that as an opportunity to bring products directly from our OEMs and supply partners to customers versus going through distribution channels. But today we'll still maintain those distribution channels as we have been in the past. Dan or Michelle, I don't know if you have anything to add there.
Well, I'll just say I totally agree with that. Step one for us is to stabilize. We want to make sure that we continue to service our customers as we have, and our objective is to take that and add to it and improve it. And so there's no radical changes that I'm thinking about right now for sure. It's learning this business collectively and doing the things that we think will really enhance our customer experience. This is all about providing for the customer, which is one of the things that was a great union with Prestige and S2S. When I founded Prestige, it was for the end user, and that is all that we have ever done and built. And now joining with S2S is their mindset as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very positive thing for our customers, and that's certainly our intent.
Yeah. And just to close that point out is that there are no changes when it comes to the products, only enhancements that we're looking at and portfolio adds to our current mix that we have today. And really, again, leveraging where we can come in and disrupt markets that do need disrupting. Our core tenants haven't gone away. That was always key factors to our success and the categories that we entered in. And it was really around, again, savings, assurance of supply, being able to help standardize because there's always changes when it comes to the clinical needs, even on commodity items. And being very transparent about what's going on in the supply chain, because every product is going to have its challenges on how you get it from design it, bring it over, get it out to you all, the end customers, and really being transparent about what's occurring as we go through that process.
Another question here, it might have already been addressed previously, but maybe we can just clarify. Will this impact the current and newly awarded Premier contracts?
It will not. So we hold all of our current and newly awarded Premier contracts, and we are actively in the sourcing process on several Premier contracts categories as well. So no, there is no disruption to those current contracts. Just for awareness, even though we used to be fully owned by Premier, we still had to go through the entire sourcing process. There was not, any special circumstances that were really extended when it came to going through the sourcing process. So just like all other suppliers, that's how we were treated. We used the Premier systems called Passport. We submitted our bids in the same way that all other suppliers submitted their bids and had to win that contract award based on the value that we could bring for that particular category. And we are planning and still continuing to do that for each and every category we're in and the ones we're bidding on.
Awesome. Well, I don't see any more questions in the chat just yet, so we'll hold off another minute or two. So if you want to fit any last minute questions in that chat, please put them in there so we can make sure we answer those for you.
Santa, I see a couple of them here in the I guess the Q&A function. And I can answer some of these really quickly. The first one is just around the distributors. Will this affect established distributors used now for the S2S Global Premier Pro brand? The answer to that is no. No effect on the distribution partner relationships. The second one here is just around, where will items be manufactured now that you under a new umbrella? Again, I think this goes to, the resiliency story. I can see some products being manufactured in the US or near shore, but a majority of our products are manufactured today in Asia and other countries, and I don't see that changing. I think many of you know or may know that we have made investments in manufacturing ourselves as S2S Global in Virginia with the Princo incontinence pad joint venture that we did. We are distributors for the Dupree gown that's made in Powell, Tennessee, and we will bring on our own glove manufacturing in 2025 in Sarawak, which is a province of Southeast Malaysia. So, we will continue to have the right mix of manufacturing locations that put our customers in the best position to get supplies when they need them, and to protect them against shortages in the future. And then all of Dan's products, Prestige's products today are manufactured in Texas. So like I said, we will have a nice rounded portfolio of manufacturing locations. And then we just got a question here around the S2S name. We have been merged into Prestige Ameritech. I think, and Dan, you correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the S2S brand, the S2S name will stick around because that's who we're known as in the market. We may choose to move away from the Premier Pro brand at some point in time. But for now, we are still S2S Global, and our products are still branded as Premier Pro.
Yeah, James, that is correct. We feel like the S2S brand and name is very important and very well known, has a great reputation. And I don't honestly see us walking away or drifting away from the S2S name at any time in the near future, if ever. So I think that's S2S is a very solid company, a great company, got a lot of loyal customers out there. And so I think, as you say, that should continue.
Yeah. And I think I covered all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Are there others?
We did get one more in the chat. So just talking about some product categories that were previously on contract. Will these be categories that we will revisit again under Prestige?
I'll take this and I'll pass it over to you in a second, Michelle. Some of those product categories that we chose to leave were pure business decisions in terms of just where we felt like that product category was going from a growth trajectory. And some of them were, by choice of the manufacturing partner who, at least in one instance, wanted to go it alone outside of S2S. So, I think, as we said earlier, we'll be aggressive in terms of growing our product portfolio. We may look at some of entering back into some of those categories that we exited, to the extent that it makes sense for both us and you, our customers. And so that's certainly all on the table at this point.
Yeah, just to further add to that, there was, anytime we exit a category, there's a host of factors that weigh into the decision. It's not one that is made lightly, because we understand, we went into it with kind of, again, our 4 or 5 tenants, and really, sometimes factors come up that we're just not able to continue some of the supply in that particular category where it makes sense to continuing offering it. With that said, it doesn't mean that we can't go back and revisit, but at this point, really with our current portfolio, we're not planning on making any further changes to our current portfolio. If the other side of that is, are you planning to leave any categories? And that answer is no.
Yeah, I think we feel really good about our current portfolio of products, and like we've continued to say throughout the webinar, we're looking to expand more so than we're looking to contract. And so Dan is certainly on board with that mission. I know he's looking forward to reviewing the portfolio and understanding, hey, what are there, what could we potentially even make, and manufacture ourselves. But like I said, it's more about expansion than contraction for sure. Okay, I think we're probably nearing time,
Yeah.
Maxine.
Yep, we are. And it looks like we did finish up the questions that have come through the chat and the Q&A. So we will go ahead and close up for today for the webinar. Thank you guys so much again for taking the time out of your day to come and just learn a little bit more about what S2S is looking forward to. As mentioned before, we will have this recording on our website. So if you do wish to see it at a later date, it will be available then. And we will provide these FAQs as a part of the supplemental resources for today. So with that, I will let you guys get back into your day, and we appreciate your time and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.